And the Commanders have agreed on a 3-year extension that will pay Terry McLaurin up to $96 million. Washington's big play receiver had been holding in at camp, hadn't played in the preseason. He was a big part of Jayden Daniels' success last season. How big? Take a look at this. Last season, Terry McLaurin caught 6 touchdowns on throws of at least 15 yards downfield. That's the second most in the NFL, behind only Jamar Chase. In fact, he was the only Commander with multiple touchdown catches of that kind. The rest of the roster combined for just 3. Our NFL front office insider Mike Tannenbaum is here with us. Mike T, give us your reaction to the Commanders' Terry McLaurin agreeing on this contract extension.
Yeah, Brian, another great job by the Washington Commander front office to solve a problem. All summer long we heard that the player wanted to be at DK Metcalf or maybe more, looking to see the details of the contract, but apparently they struck somewhere in the middle, and this puts a ribbon on a fantastic offseason. Brian, starts up front. They added Laramie Tunsil in a trade, Josh Connerly, first-round pick, added Deebo Samuel, and now to have Terry McLaurin back, it's going to be fun to watch them compete with the Giants and certainly the Eagles for the NFC East. And this team is complete. And now, again, they put a ribbon on a great offseason.
And he certainly was a big piece when you talk about big plays for Jayden Daniels and that offense. Okay, Mike T, sit tight. More from you in just a moment.
Meanwhile, the Micah Parsons standoff continues in Dallas. Here is the latest. The All-Pro was not in uniform and seen laying on a training table during Friday's Cowboys-Falcons preseason game. Parsons said he wouldn't disrespect his teammates. His head coach, Brian Schottenheimer, said he talked to Parsons on Sunday. With that, we welcome in our Cowboys reporter, Todd Archer, who joins us now. Todd, you're with this team all the time. What are your observations about how the Micah Parsons situation is impacting the rest of the team?
Yeah, clearly the players know they're a better team with him on the field than with him not on the field. But they're not consumed by this. They know how to compartmentalize some of these things. And you have to remember, a lot of these guys, they're just fighting for a spot on the team at this point in training camp and the preseason. And guys who have been around the Cowboys, well, they kind of expect these deals to take a long time. Maybe not this long. And, oh, by the way, nothing has changed on that front. But one thing Brian Schottenheimer did say was Parsons' situation could impact how they put together their 53-man roster. If he's not going to be playing week 1 against the Eagles, they might have to carry some extra pass rushers. And even if he does play, well, can they really expect him to play 100% of the snaps? So they might have to bring some extra pass rushers with him anyway. They like their pass rush depth. They like it even more when Parsons is on the field.
Yeah, we know when these guys are trying to figure out their contracts, they always like to say that they don't want to be a distraction to the team, so hopefully they're able to focus on football. Todd Archer, thank you.
Back here with Mike Tannenbaum. So the Commanders figured it out with Terry McLaurin. In terms of Parsons and the Cowboys, is there anything the Dallas front office or maybe Micah Parsons' team can learn in order to finally get a deal done there in Dallas?
Brian, the word of the day is compromise, and maybe it's a 2-year deal. It has to be north of TJ Watt. TJ Watt's at $41.5 million. Give to me, Micah Parsons, a 2-year deal at $84 million, $42 million a year. He's 26 years old. He's arguably the best pass rusher of the league. Him, Myles Garrett, TJ Watt. He's in his prime, and Dallas had a great offseason in terms of adding, George Pickens to a already good offense. And to me, they have no chance without Micah Parsons and a meaningful chance with him. So I would try to do something short-term where both sides compromise. Neither side is happy, but at least that gets them on the field for the opener, which is coming up. It's a week from Thursday.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that opening day game is right around the corner. More from Mike T in just a moment.
NFL Countdown Day is tomorrow, but Shedeur Sanders is not sweating it. Despite struggling in Saturday's preseason game, Sanders said he expects to be on the Browns' 53-man roster. He completed 3 of 6 passes for 14 yards and was sacked 5 times in 5 series against the Rams. When asked if he thought he'd make the team, Sanders said, quote, obviously. Our Browns reporter Daniel Oyefusi joins us now from his home. Daniel, what can you tell us about the plan for Shedeur Sanders heading into the season?
Well, Christine, all signs continue to point to the Browns keeping 4 quarterbacks when they trim the roster to 53 on Tuesday. And the plan for Shedeur Sanders is to continue to develop him. Obviously, he struggled in that preseason finale on Saturday. But overall, the Browns have been really, really pleased with the progress that he's made in the last couple months. Now, they don't view him as a 5th-round talent per se, but they do want to refine certain things in his games. And we saw that on Saturday, like drifting back in the pocket and overall pocket presence. That might take shape during the season with running the scout team offense and a lot of film study. But the hope is that he can continue to become fluent in this offense. GM Andrew Berry said on the broadcast that he likened his transition to somebody who was fluent in English and trying to learn Mandarin.
It was very fun to watch Shedeur and Andrew Berry interact on the sideline as well. Daniel, I just want to be very clear. Where exactly are you? That's your apartment?
It's the common room in the apartment.
He said he lives there. He got money. Daniel, thank you.
You know what they say, you can't hide money. Mike Tannenbaum is back here for more, this time with the Browns. Okay, Mike, as a former GM, how would you manage the Browns quarterback room as we currently see it with 4 quarterbacks?
Yeah, Brian, the first thing I would do as a former GM is I would trade my background for Daniel's. I'm with you guys. Boy, that's a heck of a view, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
As it relates to the Browns, look, I think they got to keep 3. That's what most of the league does, either that or keep 2. I would trade Kenny Pickett. Teams like the Cowboys, even the Raiders who just lost, Aiden O'Connell will be looking for a veteran. Dylan Gabriel has looked pretty good so far. He's earned the backup position. And to me, what I would tell Shedeur is like, look, you have all the ability in the world. You look great against the Panthers, not as good against the Rams, but you know what? This is the start of your career, not the end of the career. Embrace coaching, get better, and then at the end of the year, hopefully from Cleveland, you have 2 young players in Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders heading into an offseason where you're going to have 2 first-round picks and a loaded class for quarterbacks, so they could actually deal from a position of strength. So I do think Shedeur makes it. I do think he has a way to go, but he did put good tape on, especially against the Carolina Panthers 2 weeks ago.
Was there any team in particular, when you talk about dealing Kenny Pickett, where you would try to send him?
Yeah, again, I think it's the Raiders, who just lost Aiden O'Connell to injury, or the aforementioned Dallas Cowboys, Brian, because Cooper Rush left for Baltimore in free agency, and Joe Milton has been very up and down this preseason. So Kenny Pickett, a former first-round pick, sort of a veteran who knows, has some experience playing. And I think those would be the 2 teams that should show interest in Kenny Pickett. And now you have Joe Flacco and 2 young guys in Cleveland. And now you right-size that quarterback room with 3 quarterbacks.
There you have it. All right. Front Office Insider Mike Tannenbaum with the very latest. Thank you.
The app lets you follow the ever-changing Micah Parsons saga. He still doesn't have a new contract he wants. Owner Jerry Jones said he's willing to make him the highest-paid non-quarterback. Parsons was seen laying on a training table during Friday's preseason game and was not in uniform. Stephen A. and company weigh in on his behavior on First Take, Last Take.
It was a bad look, but I do believe him. He wasn't trying to be disrespectful to his teammates at all. But I do think he's trying to be disrespectful to Jerry Jones. I think that Jerry Jones has really raked his last nerves. I think that Jerry Jones and the things that he has said has really, really irked him. He wants to let Jerry know he doesn't appreciate it, he doesn't like it, he doesn't respect it, and he is not beyond retaliating in his own way to irk this man as well.
We've gotten to a point now to where Jerry Jones's personal feelings have now put his team in a position to not have their best overall player on the field night 1 against the Philadelphia Eagles.
I don't think Mike is going to play for the Cowboys again.
Again?
Yeah, I just don't. I honestly think, like, if I'm the Buffalo Bills or the Baltimore Ravens, I'm on the phone. Because if it's as bad as we know publicly, it's probably worse privately. So at some point, it's like, when does it get to a point for Jerry Jones where the player and the production isn't worth it anymore when it comes to the personal dislike, okay?
Jerry Jones, you've been negotiating for at least 60 years. What are you talking about? If it's black, white, young, old, or whatever, your franchise is worth $12.8 billion. You yourself is worth $16 billion. You are considered one of the elite businessmen and marketers in this country, if not this world. Why are you acting like a conversation with a 25-year-old is a negotiation?
Even after the conversation from Jerry Jones, he said, no, don't call me anymore, call my agent. So he said, hey, the things you're talking about, I'm comfortable with. But I also know I do not have the depth. I do not have the knowledge. And I'm also paying someone 3% of my contract to do the rest of this.
Right.
Talk to him.
Right.
Jerry Jones knows that is the logical, that is the professional next step, which he wants to skip for some reason when it pertains to Micah Parsons. And maybe it is because Dak played, maybe it is because DeMarcus played, but in this situation, Micah Parsons doesn't seem to want to play.
So if the Cowboys start the season with Micah Parsons still holding out, it could spell trouble for Jerry's team. Last year, Dallas's defense ranked dead last in expected points added when Parsons was off the field. However, with him on the field, different story. They ranked first.
Christine, our breaking news is the Cowboys' division rival, the Commanders. They've reached an agreement, 3-year deal for up to $96 million with their big-time receiver, Terry McLaurin. Washington's top wideout had been holding in at camp, had over 1,000 receiving yards, 13 TDs last season. Of course,